Hey, McDowell here. Today we are taking a look at the latest 4-inch Fortnite Squad Mode set from Jazwares, Tomato Town Legends. It says so right there. Anyway, I found this set at Target for $34.99. Let's take a look at the back of the box. It's a cool looking group shot. Down here, Gutbomb, a good burger gone bad. Guaco, stay crunchy, Guaco's coming. The Brat, relish the winds. And Hothouse, you feeling the heat? Down near the bottom is the cross sale. We have some exciting new figures to look forward to. And for those who want to see the barcode, here it is. Alright, I'm really excited. Let's get these figures out of the box. If you are new to the channel, welcome, and please subscribe so you'll be notified of future videos. If you want to help the channel out and you play Fortnite, please feel free to add my creator code to your Epic account. It's McDowell. Guaco is a rare skin. You can buy him in the store for 1,200 V-Bucks. He's part of the Leftovers set, was introduced Chapter 1, Season 10. Gutbomb, who's coming around, is an epic skin and can be purchased for 1,500 V-Bucks in the store when available. Part of the Leftovers set, he was introduced in Chapter 1, Season 10. The Brat, who was introduced later in Chapter 2, Season 1, is a rare skin. Again, 1,200 V-Bucks. This time, he is part of the Missing Links set. And finally, Hothouse is an epic skin. Can buy him for 1,500 V-Bucks. He's part of the Leftovers set and was introduced in Chapter 1, Season 10. As far as for pack-in accessories go, we get 4 of these grass building material pieces that are also figure stands. Get a legendary bolt-action sniper rifle, a submachine gun, a pump shotgun, a rapid-fire submachine gun, fork knife harvesting tools, Knockwurst harvesting tool, Axeroni harvesting tool, paddywhacker harvesting tool, and finally, while not an accessory listed on the box, the Brat's hat does come off, so I would consider this to be the final accessory of the pack. And with all sets that have building material, we get a building tips and tricks guide. These figures are about 4 inches tall and have 20 points of articulation. We'll start from left to right and take a look at some of these figures' articulation. They're mostly the same. First, we're going to take a peek here at Guaco. Now, the one thing that kind of bugs me about Guaco is his head. His head is like straight up and his eyes are looking straight up. And so when you have them this way, at least in the game, the eyeballs or the pupils are at least a little bit further down. So that makes a little bit more sense to me to bring his head down like that. Even though that looks a little bit odd, I think, compared to the game, because it is more up. Actually, I think this figure might have been able to benefit from little googly eyes or something. They kind of want to bounce around, I think. But anyway, surprisingly, the articulation on this figure is pretty good. His head bends down. Doesn't this just make you want to have a taco? And his head can go backwards. And his head can move from side to side. Really great. His arms rotate around. All these figures are a little bit tough, so you'll hear some ratcheting. Arms go up about that high. Elbows rotate, hinge. They go about that far. And the wrists rotate and hinge. He's got a torso wiggle. He can rotate his waist right there, but this one doesn't want to as much. If you want him to do the splits, he can go about that far. He has a rotation at the thigh, double pin at the knee, and a rotation and hinge at the ankle. One thing I also am noticing about this figure, and that is, it seems like the thighs, the upper thighs and the lower thighs, are different color. Maybe I should say from the thigh cut down and the thigh cut up, it's almost like 2 different yellows. It's a lighter yellow up here and a darker yellow. So it must just be the way they made the figure, or maybe, because I'm guessing that this is the casting color, the plastic color. So that's kind of interesting to note. I wonder if everyone has that, or if I'm super special. It doesn't matter if I am. All right, let's take a look here at the Brat, who's a little bit shadowed. So let's do that. He's got some cool glasses, and they don't come off at all. But as I mentioned earlier, the hat does. So you could do the hat that way, but, well, then he's almost too cool for school because he can't look past the bill. So, unfortunately, unlike the 6-inch figure, you're going to want to, unless you want to heat this up, you might be able to heat the hat up and take the bend out of it, maybe. And if you do that, then maybe you could have it straight on. But anyway, how does this guy work? Now, his bun is not removable. It's not like a coat. It's molded on. So this is what you get. You can rotate his arms around. His arms go up at the shoulders. Even though this is a bit crimped around the biceps do not rotate. You go straight down to the shoulder, not the shoulder, but the elbow hinge and rotation. That's about that far. So he's not 90 degrees. His wrists rotate and hinge as well. And over here on the right side, same thing. There's a crimp here above the watch, but it doesn't bend or anything. He's got no articulation here at the chest, so he may actually have 27 points instead of 28. He's kind of like Peely, except for he's got a waist rotation that seems to work pretty good. If you want him to do the splits, he could go up about that far. The waist or the thighs rotate quite well. He's got double pin at the knee, and his ankles rotate and hinge. And truthfully, he's a pretty cool looking figure. I kind of like this one. All right, moving on to Hothouse as soon as I can get the Brat to stand properly. Moving on to Hothouse. Well, he doesn't look too bad. He looks about like he does in game, except for this is a little bit looser around his neck there. So his head will not lean back whatsoever. The hoodie hinders that motion. Can he look down? Kinda, just a little bit. He can rotate his head back and forth, but not, well, actually he can't do it all the way around. I didn't think he could. His shoulders rotate and hinge. That's about as far as they go there. Maybe, come on down, there we go. His elbows rotate and hinge. He got about that rotation right there. They're all about the same. His wrists rotate and hinge. His torso rotates, and his waist will rotate as well, but you got to really grab onto everything to get that to rotate. If you want him to do the splits comfortably, he can go up about that far. His thighs rotate, double pin at the knee, rotation at the ankle, and hinge at the ankle. And that is Hothouse. Let's kind of get him back there. Finally, we have Gutbomb. And they made this figure just a little bit different than Beef Boss. The tongue is molded directly onto the head as opposed to being a loose piece of plastic. It seems like, I think it was a loose... I didn't pull out my original Beef Boss, but I think the tongue was just kind of hanging out there as a very medium to hard piece of rubber. Anyway, his head rotates all the way around. He can look... Well, maybe he can't look down. I thought he could. He can't really, I guess, move his head. He can wiggle since it's on a ball joint. His arms, the shoulders rotate around, and these are really tough. His arms go up about that high. Maybe a little bit higher if you want to try to push it. His elbows rotate and hinge. His wrists rotate and hinge. And he's got a torso wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. And he's supposed to move at the waist, but it's kind of difficult to grab all these pieces, especially with this front portion that hangs down. You can't really grab that waist to get it to rotate. If you want him to do the splits comfortably, he can go up about that far. Thighs rotate, double pin at the knee, and the ankle rotates and hinges right there. That's the figures. That's articulation. They all look pretty nice, I think. They look mostly like they're in-game versions right there. So let's bring them all just a little bit closer. You already saw them geared up. So let's wrap this thing up. So overall, I think this is a really solid set. It's a good set, but I do have a few disappointments besides just Guaco's eyes looking straight up instead of down just a little bit more. The Brat's really cool to have, and I think it's actually one of the strongest characters, one of the best figures in here, and I actually don't even like that skin in the game, but I think the figure is probably one of the best of this set. What I find disappointing is that maybe, we could have gotten Ragsy, because these three guys are from the leftovers. he's from the Missing Links, you know, getting Ragsy would finish up the Leftovers set of skins for us. That would have been kind of cool. It also would have been nice to not gotten reused harvesting tools for Gutbomb and Hothouse. Instead, we get the tomato head and the beef boss harvesting tools. So that would have been cool to actually get their proper harvesting tools instead of just a reuse. But, you know, that's just, you know, those are some pretty small quibbles from me. And if that's what I've got to say about, then this really, like I said, it's a pretty good set. Guaco's probably going to be my second favorite out of here with these two. For personal reasons, these two are probably numbers 3 and number 4. All right, well, now it's your turn. What do you think about this set? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you haven't already, check out my review of the best vehicle ever, the Whiplash, in the lower left corner. Thank you for stopping by and watching. Please like this video and share it everywhere. It really helps the channel. I will see you in the next video.